Banksy's works and very existence continue to entice, entertain, provoke, and baffle audiences all over the world. But who is he, and where did he come from? Here's a look at the untold truth of Banksy. Even global art icons have to start somewhere, and Banksy's somewhere was Bristol, UK. He started painting walls as part of a gang called the Dry Breads Crew, and at first, he was a fairly conventional freehand artist. According to Smithsonian Magazine, Banksy was known to run in Bristol's down-market, working-class Barton Hill district. Though he actually hailed from a wealthier part of town himself, he has said that he found the area fairly intimidating, especially because his father once got beaten up there. Banksy's street artist name was a process of trial and error. He originally experimented with monikers such as Robbin' Banks, a play on robbing banks. However, he ultimately settled on the decidedly less gangster-like Banksy because he felt it packed more of a punch and was also vastly easier to spray on the wall. This focus on quickness would also eventually be crucial in the development of his signature art style. Banksy has worked with installations, elaborate sculptures, film, and even plain old paint on canvas. However, he's best known for his stencil graffiti works. According to Smithsonian Magazine, the artist realized the possibilities of stencil technique when he was 18 years old and realized he needed to be faster with his graffiti to avoid the cops. That's when he was inspired to use stencils, which he said also had the bonus of carrying a symbolic message. All graffiti is low-level dissent, but stencils have an extra history. They've been used to start revolutions and to stop wars. Of course, there are other versions of the story too, with the BBC noting that Banksy's stencil works are strongly influenced by a French artist called Blek the Rat, who has been doing stencil graffiti for decades. So maybe Banksy's work isn't quite as innovative as you might have thought. According to Smithsonian Magazine, Banksy moved his base operations to London sometime around 1999. This was also when he started truly embracing anonymity, reportedly for at least two reasons. One was his desire to avoid the police, and the other was his realization that working as a faceless artist would bring an extra layer of mystery to his work. Whatever the reason, as his street art started popping up in various cities, the enigmatic Banksy started drawing comparisons to heavyweights of graffiti art, such as Keith Haring. Soon, the serious art circles couldn't resist him. In 2001, Banksy and a group of other street artists set up a successful guerrilla exhibition in a tunnel in London's Rivington Street. 2 years later, he mounted his own turf war expedition in a repurposed warehouse in Hackney. It was a massive success, and the art circles of the city fell head over heels for his carnivalistic themes, which included a live cow with an Andy Warhol portrait on its side, along with a chimpanzee version of Queen Elizabeth II. Just like that, Banksy had taken over. Banksy has also gained notoriety by smuggling his own artwork into high-profile museums. According to Smithsonian Magazine, he seems to have started the practice in 2003 when he snuck an oil painting called "Crime Watch UK Has Ruined the Countryside for All of Us" into Tate Britain. Since then, he has performed similar art insertion stunts in several major museums, including the iconic Louvre, the British Museum, and New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art. Don't think for a second that Banksy limits himself to just museums, though. In 2013, he went to New York and created a series of artwork stunts across the city that drew citywide attention from fans and detractors alike, and caused Mayor Michael Bloomberg to send the NYPD's anti-vandal squad out to capture him.
You running up to somebody's property or public property and defacing it is not my definition of art.
Banksy is known for using political themes in his art, and sometimes he brings his work to places where it delivers the maximum impact. In 2005, he traveled to the West Bank barrier, which separates Israel from Palestine. There he painted no less than 9 highly elaborate pieces on the Palestinian side of the barrier. Apart from artistic merit, this was pretty impressive because the area is heavily guarded and the pieces were rather large. All 9 had political overtones, with a connecting theme of searching for paradise. And according to Essential Magazine, Banksy returned to the scene in 2017 when he opened the walled-off hotel, a very real hotel just by the barrier. In an example of refreshingly honest advertising combined with typical Banksy dark humor, the business's tagline was, "The worst view in the world."